Good evening, and thank you for joining us this evening for our for Calling City Hall. It's a great night, and I'm pretty excited about the guests that we have tonight with me. I've got with me Danielle Garcia. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's very exciting. We're talking about one of the events that you do at the Animal Services, up there with the Animal Services, and that event is Run with the Big Dogs.
Absolutely. Run with the Big Dogs is our biggest event of the year. I'm
going to guess it's the 15th annual?
Actually, no, this is the 21st.
Oh my gosh. The 21st annual,
yes.
That's what my real guess is. No, the 21st annual Run with the Big Dogs. It sure has been it's a big event.
It absolutely is. The whole staff and the public look forward to it every year. We've already got people that are registering for the event. It's actually going to be, it's the 21st event of the year, or the 21st annual event, and it's also on April 21st. So it's easy to remember.
So April 21, 21st annual. Mm-hmm. What time does it start?
The race starts at 10 o'clock. The early registration or late registration is from 8:45 until 9.
Okay.
Or, I'm sorry, 8:45 to 9:30. So, and if you register by the 10th of April, you can pick up your shirt and your race packet the night before from 4 to 6 at the shelter.
Okay, so 10 o'clock, I've got to write this down so I remember. 10 a.m. is the race start.
Yes.
You can register now.
Yes, you can start registering now. You can come up to the animal shelter. Registrations right now until April 10th. If you're 13 or older, it's $25.
Okay.
And 12 or under is $15. After April 10th, it's $35 for adults and $25 for children under 12.
So it goes up $10 if it's after the
April
10th.
10th, yes, absolutely.
So this Run with the Big Dogs, tell me a little bit about the race. I mean, it's an incredible race. I've done it for years. Mm-hmm. I even borrowed a neighbor's dog one time because
I think you've walked my dog.
I have walked your dog.
Yes, you have.
There was a time when my wife and I, we only had the one dog, and so we would beg, borrow, and steal anything we could so that we could be a part of this. And the reality is, if you just want to donate and you want to run and be a part of this festivity, you can.
Absolutely.
You don't have to have a dog.
No, you don't.
To do it.
It's not a competition. It's not timed. There's a 2K walk, a 5K walk, and a 5K run.
Okay.
So it's a lot of fun. Again, like you just said, you don't have to have a dog. You can just come. If you don't have a dog but are looking for a dog, there will be adoptable animals at the event as well. Our dogs that are available for adoption wear vests that say "Adopt Me," and we take them up on the stage and we show them off and tell you different things about their personality. And hopefully the event usually helps us get them good homes.
What's really neat about that is you have these dogs that are adoptable. Sometimes people go, will they be good with kids? Will they interact with people? When you see them with the hundreds of people that are there and all of the dogs that are there,
right,
you realize that, they really are good dogs, and they really, truly would make a good pet for a family, and
absolutely,
and a good addition to any family.
And the people that actually handle the dogs at the event, they get training with their particular dog for a couple weeks before the event, so they really get to know the dog that they're going to be handling. So when people ask questions about that particular dog, the handler knows a lot about them, so they really can tell them what family would be best for them.
And I think that's something that people need to realize is it is important for us to get a good fit for them. We don't want somebody to go home with a dog that's not going to be a good fit for their family.
Right.
And them have a miserable experience, because dogs are pretty fun to have around, unless you just have the bad fit.
Absolutely, yes. A lot of people get dogs just by breed or by the way that they look, and it's definitely not always the best fit for your home.
For
so
sure.
Listen to what the volunteers and the handlers have to say. They can really help fit the animal to you.
Yeah, that's right. So I can't believe it's 21 years.
I know, it's great.
Incredible.
It's an amazing thing. And Friends of the Pocatello Animal Shelters, the ones that sponsor it, they're the ones that actually put this event together 21 years ago. And they are still working faithfully to help the shelter to keep this running. They keep this event going, and with the donations and the funds that we get from the run, helps to keep lower costs of spays and neuters for the animals at the shelter.
Well, that's one thing that's important for us to do, and it always has been. And with this event, they can do that. Like you said, the Friends really work very closely with the animal services director and the department as a whole and their desire to make it better and easier for animals to be adopted and taken care of in the works. The city couldn't do it without Friends.
Absolutely. That's a very good point that you make, because there's certain things that the city budget just is not able to do, just extra things that we don't really think of. They just come up. And Friends is wonderful at helping with that. For amputations, we have animals that have been hit by cars, and the medical bill is just phenomenal. That's where Friends will step in and help. So they really do a lot outside of the events. We meet with them once a month. We show them what's going on with the shelter. They let us know what's going on with them. We keep a very open communication between us and them, and it does great things for the animals.
It's absolutely wonderful to have Friends. I'll tell you, we couldn't do it without Friends.
No, we couldn't. They definitely deserve a lot of credit.
Absolutely. They sponsor this Run with the Big Dogs. They also sponsor the Splash Dance, do they not?
Yes, and the Splash Dance is a newer event. I believe this year will be our 4th year for the Splash Dance.
Okay.
And right after they close the Ross Park pool, the dogs get to use it before they drain it and clean it. And it's a great event. People love to come and watch the animals play in the pool. And the animals just have a phenomenal time. And it's good for all dogs of all sizes, all ages, because they open the kiddie pool as well. So for the dogs that can't really swim, they have the really shallow pool. And then for the big ball crazy dogs, they have the bigger pool.
So with that, do they have the lazy river going? I mean, if you've got a dog that's lazy and you can throw him in a tube and send him around the thing.
We do. They're different. There are different floats that we have in there, and we also have lifeguards on duty in case any dog gets into some trouble. So.
Which is great, and that's another great event. And
Yes.
I mean, that was Friends thinking outside the box, thinking, okay, what else can we do to help the shelter?
Absolutely, and we get it from the Dogapalooza, which Lava Hot Springs holds every year. We got the idea from them. We used to participate with them, and now Pocatello has their own event, which I definitely recommend that you go to Dogapalooza as well. It's a great event. The community there is just amazing. So we just took a little hint from them and opened our own event in Pocatello.
And it's been very successful. I remember the first day, or the first annual event was just incredible. People loved it.
Yes.
And so it was good. One thing that's interesting is Run with the Big Dogs has moved times.
Yes.
It used to be really close to the Splash.
The splashes, yes. We used to always do the Splash Dance in the middle of September, and the Run with the Big Dogs used to always be the first Saturday of October.
Yeah.
And we've decided to do it in the middle of the year for a couple different reasons. One is to space those events apart. A lot of people just can't do 2 events that big, that close together.
Yeah.
So this makes it easier for them, as well as us. This way we do it when hopefully we will, knock on wood, we'll have great weather, because the first Saturday in
April,
October,
that's
you
right.
never know. You just never know what you're going to get. Of course, the 3rd week in April could be the same story.
Well, we wouldn't have thought that our second snowstorm of the year was happening, so late in February.
Exactly.
So hopefully on April 21st, it's a nice, beautiful, clear day and
It is. We're
warm temperatures.
going to think happy thoughts.
It's going to be warm.
We've
Decided that.
We've decided.
We've ordered that weather. We'll see what happens with that.
The other thing about the race as well is we do have people and businesses that donate. We have vendors that come to the event and they talk about what they do. Community Animal Hospital is usually there, and Bannock Animal Medical Center is usually there. They do nail trims, they'll do some slight exams, and people can bring their pets in and ask questions about that as well. So that's a good thing. And then we also have a raffle.
Oh, that's right.
Private,
the raffle. Yeah.
Private parties and businesses donate things to the raffle. So everybody that purchases a ticket gets a raffle ticket as well.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of really great prizes for you and your pooch.
That's exactly right. It's a lot of fun. People just they really get into it. But you do bring up a really good point that you have different people. So you have if you have a question about bordering an animal while you go on vacation, you have that.
Yes, we usually have
there.
Pomposa. That's at least one that I know that's there. And Pocatello Pet Lodge is usually at our events as well. So yes, it's a community event.
You can meet those people and stuff. You have different vets there that it's always important to be comfortable and have a relationship with your vet, and so that's also a good idea to have that. And you can meet somebody if you don't have one already. You can meet them and get to know them as well.
Yes, that's a great idea. We have people that come to us all the time and ask, well, which vet do you recommend? And I really can't say. All the vets in town are wonderful. There's not a single vet in town that I would not recommend. So if you come to the event and you meet these vets, then you can make your own decision.
And you make your own decision,
Yes.
and you can do what's best for your dog. They
Yes,
can look at them,
whoever
you
you're
can see how they
comfortable
handle your dog or your animals, and go from there.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
it's really neat. I'll tell you one thing also. When it's warm outside, we have swimming pools for the dogs to get in and cool off, and there's treats all around.
All around, treats everywhere.
It's a wonderful time, and it's amazing to me that you'll have so many dogs and so few issues.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Most of the people that bring their animals are very well trained. So I've been there for 7 years. This will be my 7th event, and I have seen maybe 2 altercations in that whole 7 years.
Yeah.
So it really is a great event. Everybody keeps their animals on leash, which is definitely something that I like to express to people. Make sure that your animal is on leash. You may have the best dog in the world, but that doesn't mean that somebody else's is.
Well,
And they get excited.
They do get excited. There's so many dogs, and I'll tell you, not everybody's dog is really trained as great. So if your dog isn't trained, keep them on a leash where you can keep control of them. And I think that's why you have fewer altercations, is because of the control. The owners have control of those dogs on the leash and stuff, and we have people there that will help you also with that. They'll work with you so that you can know really what to do.
Yeah, we do have
keep those dogs under
volunteers
control.
and our staff that's there. There's a lot of people there from the Humane Society and PAWS as well. They're all great people to talk to and interact with. They have great resources for training, for medical care. PAWS and the Bannock Humane Society are 2 places that have great resources for animals as well as us.
So if you have a hard time with anything with your animals, really, they can help.
Yes, they do give spay-neuter certificates. They offer spay-neuter certificates. The Humane Society does it every Wednesday night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And PAWS, I'm not really sure exactly when they do it, but I know they sell them at Petco.
Okay.
So there's definitely resources for you to go to through them. And the other thing too is that we service the city of Pocatello. We take animals in and adopt animals out all over the county. But as far as the vets that we use, we only stay within the city of Pocatello.
Sure. Which makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. We want to support our city.
Absolutely, no question there. So let's talk a little bit about, and then we'll come back to Run with the Big Dogs, because I think that's such a great event, and I would love to see more and more people there at the event.
Yeah, record year.
Absolutely, a record year would be great. But let's talk about a few of the things that, you touched just slightly on some of the services that we provide there at the Animal Services with the new shelter there and stuff. We provide a number of different services. Number one, licenses. Why is it important to have your animal licensed?
Well, besides the fact that it's actually a city ordinance, you must
Sure.
have
Well, I mean,
have your dog licensed. But it's an identification. So if somebody finds a dog or a cat that's out on the street and it has a tag, many times they'll call us and just give us that license number. We'll look up the license number, find the owner, and they can reunite the animal and the owner without having the shelter get involved.
Sure.
Which is helpful for both parties. And microchipping is the other one. Microchip is something that we highly recommend for all animals because, for one thing, a tag can fall off. You can lose a license. Cats don't really like to wear collars. They get them snagged on things and it's just not convenient. So with a microchip, you always know that your cat can be identified, your dog can be identified. So if your animal gets picked up or somebody finds it, They can be scanned at any local vet or at the animal shelter, and then we can reunite them back with their owner as well.
Absolutely. Well, and that's a big deal. I don't know how many times where we have the opportunity to reunite animals with them, but I do know that at our facility we can hold the dogs and cats for so long, but then after, I think it's a 72-hour period.
Yeah, it's 3 working days, and then we can put them up for adoption.
Then they can be adopted. And so within 3 days, if you haven't found your animal, and we've had this happen before where we've adopted one out, and the same day somebody comes up and it was their animal, you know, that really puts 3 parties, the people that own the animal, the people that now own the animal, and the city in the middle of an issue that really shouldn't happen. And it's preventable if we have the identification.
Yes, absolutely. The other thing too to remember is a lot of people, they get that microchip or they get that license and then they move.
Oh, that's true.
So make sure that you always keep your information updated. Call us, call the microchip company, make sure your information's updated, because if we get your animal and we try to contact you and that number has changed, there's nothing that we can do. We're kind of stuck.
Pretty tough to do anything when that happens. That's for sure. So what else do we have? I know that we take a lot of animals in on an annual basis.
Absolutely. We take in 3,500 to 4,500 animals a year, and we work with 3 different counties, and we work within an 80-mile radius. When we go pick up animals, we don't go out that far, but we take in animals from Caribou County, Bingham County. We've had animals come in from Bonneville County. We also work with American Falls.
Wow.
So we are a regional shelter, not just a city shelter. And so people know us, people know our name. We're a big, beautiful new shelter. And people will bypass other places to bring their animals to us. And we've had, just the other day, I had a lady call me because she saw a dog that we had online that she really wanted to adopt. She was in Florida.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We adopt out nationally.
That's unbelievable.
Yes.
I didn't realize that we had so many people that would look into our shelter.
Petfinder.com is an amazing place. It's a computer program that when we put an animal onto our computer program, as soon as we tag it as being available for adoption, it goes onto that website. So people all over the United States could look at our website and can find the dog that they want.
That's amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing that you have that big of a reach with technology nowadays.
It's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing.
No question. So cats, I know we're talking dogs right now, but I want to talk cats for a minute.
Okay.
We have a ton of cats.
We do. Knock on wood, right now we're okay. We're actually where we're supposed to be for this time of year.
Oh, you said that out loud.
Yes. Sorry. But kitten season is coming. As soon as spring starts, kittens come. So that will be happening soon. But we do have a huge cat population in the city and in the county. And that's another situation where we're a regional shelter. We get a lot of animals from different parts of the city that aren't actually in the city. And spaying and neutering is that's what we're pushing. If spaying and neutering will help this problem tremendously.
So we've talked, you mentioned spay and neutering. We have talked spay and neutering since 2010 that I know of, and I'm sure we talked about it long before then as well. Has it made a difference? Has it helped? Is it, where are we falling short? Because I know there's a lot of cats.
Yes, and I'm glad that you asked that, because one of the main reasons, it's not that people don't want to spay or neuter their animals, it's the cost. Unfortunately, it's the cost. When our economy is down, it's really hard for people. They have to decide if I can spay or neuter my animal or pay my electric bill. And it's hard for us to think of it like that, but that's the reality. So if we had more low-cost spay and neuter clinics that we could offer in the city, that would be definitely helpful. And again, right now, Paws and the Humane Society does offer that. As a matter of fact, right now, you can get your cat spayed or neutered for $35 with the Humane Society. Wow. They're having a special. So anybody out there, please go to the Humane Society on Wednesday night, get your animal fixed. $35 is a huge discount.
That is a big discount. There is no question. That's like 80% off I don't think it really is 80% off, but I mean
It's pretty darn close.
It's significant. Yeah. So, and it helps, and it really truly helps keep that population at bay a little bit.
Yes.
If you will.
Yeah.
So feral cats, I know there's a need for them. There's a debate out there whether or not they're needed, and there's a debate whether they're not needed. Doesn't really matter where you fall on that argument,
right.
if you think they're needed or not. The reality is we have them.
Yes.
And we're not going to go away from them.
There's going to be a debate for the end of time.
Absolutely,
I mean,
there always will be. But if we can capture them, neuter them or spade them, and then release them, the need is still there for it, but the population continues to drop.
Absolutely, that's a wonderful point. If we were able to do what we call TVNR, which is trap, vaccinate, release, or neuter release, we can pick up animals from colonies, well-known colonies. There's a lot of people in town that actually manage cat colonies.
Yeah.
And if we could go in there, trap those cats, bring them in, they can anesthetize them right in their kennel, take them out, spay, neuter them, put them back in the kennel, and set them back out. And we also notch their ear. Now,
so we know which ones
we know which ones have been done and which ones have not. And eventually if we were able to do that, eventually we could work something into our ordinance to help protect those cats.
And I think it would be beneficial for the community as a whole.
Yes, a lot of people don't. The biggest debate for people that you just don't like cats, or this cat is using my garden for a litter box, and I understand that. I wholeheartedly understand that. But if animals are fixed, they're a lot less likely to roam. Yeah. So it's definitely good, and the younger that you get them fixed, the better. And they'll usually stay in their community if they have no reason to wander.
To leave, yeah. Yep, well that makes a lot of sense. What other animals do you take at the animal?
The animal shelter takes every animal. We've had goats, we've had chickens, we have roosters, we've had ferrets, tarantulas, snakes.
You take all?
We take all. There's nothing that we will turn away. We will never turn away any animal for any reason.
So
we may need help holding it, like a horse.
Horse, all right.
And if we had a situation where somebody had to surrender a horse, we'd probably look at the local vets to help us with boarding.
To find a place for them, and the local vets may have a home for that horse.
And they might, absolutely.
May be able to find one faster than we can. Because I don't typically think animal shelter, I want a horse, let's go see if they have a horse.
Right, yeah, it doesn't really happen very often.
No, I'm sure it doesn't. I'm sure it doesn't. But birds, you take birds as well?
We have gotten birds. Usually, a lot of the birds are wildlife. We get injured pigeons and injured little robins and things like that. But domestic birds, usually if we get them, they're either released by the owner and they're quickly adopted out. We have to make sure that we have housing for all the different animals. So in our back, we have we have aquariums, and we have bird cages, and we have places for rabbits. So we have them on display. But a lot of times we've had a parrot, this really adorable parrot, and we've gotten him twice.
Really?
Just goes out for a cruise, and the people come up and pick him up. So we definitely get some interesting animals.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
At least he knows where to go.
He does. He knows where the food's at.
That's right. That's great. So we do a number of services there. We have a great staff, I will tell you that. We have a great staff at up at the shelter there. They take a lot of pride in what they do, and it's not an easy job.
It's definitely not an easy job. The staff deals with a lot of heartache, but it's always overpowered by the joy of watching an adoption.
Sure.
When we have an animal that gets a new home, it's Christmas.
It's great.
It is. It's wonderful.
It's a great thing. There's before a year, and I'm saying a few years ago, to adopt a dog, it seemed like, or an animal, it seemed like it took quite some time, but now everything's computerized. And so it literally takes 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes versus 45 minutes to an hour is what it took before.
Is what it takes. And so we've done everything we can to expedite that. We know when you adopt an animal that you want to take that animal and get it home, or you want to do stuff, and so it's always good to not have to sit up there and go through all the paperwork and stuff. It's fairly quickly.
Yeah, and we're trying to make sure that everything is spayed or neutered before it hits the floor, so that they can take that animal home.
That's right.
When you bring your little kid up to adopt a puppy, and then you have to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to wait."
That's right.
That doesn't usually go over well.
We get it in 3 days.
Yes, yes, it doesn't go well. So we're trying to help expedite that too.
Sure. Well, it sure is. It's a great resource our community has.
It is.
And our staff, like I said, well, our kennel staff, those kennels have to be cleaned daily. And so every place we have an animal, we clean it daily. And,
yes. And if puppies, it's 3 or 4 times
that's
a
right.
day.
Exactly right.
Puppies are messy.
So if you're looking for a dog, a cat, sounds like a rabbit or a bird or whatever, a tarantula, I don't know why you would want one of them, but if you're looking for those things, check us out. See what we've got.
Yes.
And
Petfinder.com or our Facebook page, or just come on up and take a look.
And there's nothing wrong with a little bit of puppy therapy once in a while. You just go up there and pet a puppy or two.
You bet. It makes our job easier too. And we also just recently started having birthday parties at the shelter. So you can come up, and there's no fee, and you can come up and have a birthday party in our community room. We've had 3 birthday parties so far, and it's usually for, it's for young children. And they come up and they get to do things, and our volunteer coordinator brings in puppies or kitties for them to play with, and it's a great time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
It's been a
what a
really
great
good
thing for the animals as well, the kids and the animals.
Yes.
Both. That's great. Any other services that we provide that you can think of right off the top? I mean, I can't tell you enough how impressed I am with the staff. As you know, I've gone up there and worked in the animal shelter there a couple of times, and you get your hands dirty cleaning shelter or cleaning kennels and taking dogs out and cats out and moving them around and stuff. It's really truly a lot of fun. Volunteer program, if you want to volunteer.
Absolutely. You can go, our volunteer program has actually been converted mostly to online.
Okay.
So you can go to our website through the City of Pocatello, and all the information for volunteering is on there, so you can register. We're converting the registration program. You can register online. Right now we're doing the orientation at the shelter, but we're converting that to actually be able to do it in your home. So we can just send you a link to the orientation. You can do it from your home, decide if you think it's right for you, and then if it is, then we'll have you come in and start the process. So it seems a lot easier because it's more convenient for you to be able to do the orientation.
That is awesome. So if you'd like to volunteer, by all means, please come and volunteer. There's a number of activities and a number of things that you can do, but let's go back really quick. I just want to mention again, half hour's up. You can't believe how fast it goes when you're here. But Run with the Big Dogs, April 21st.
10
starts at 10 a.m. You can register now, register before April 10, and you'll get the lower rate. If you register after April 10th, then you pay an extra $10.
Yes.
You still get the t-shirts, you still get to be a part of it, and it's still a great event.
Yes. If you register before April 10th, you can pick up your shirt and your race packet the night before the race from 4 to 6 p.m. After that, you would have to wait for your t-shirt.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me today. It's great. A lot of information out there about the animal services, and so thank you very much.
Thank you.
What would you do if you couldn't cry out for help? Who could help you? I'm Marlee Matlin, a member of the American Red Cross National Celebrity Cabinet, with an important message. Children can't always tell you what's wrong or how you can help them during emergencies. They need you to read the signs. The American Red Cross can teach you how to read critical signals in infants and children so that you can respond in respiratory and cardiac emergencies. Visit www.redcross.org or call 1-800-HELP-NOW to learn more. Be prepared before an emergency. Get trained in infant and child CPR. Learn how to read the signs. When you do, you can make a critical difference in the life of a child. You could even help save a life. Please call the Red Cross today. Together, we can save a life.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us after the break today, this evening. I have with me two extremely special guests. I have with me today our Mayor for a Day. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Mayor Myron, and it's exciting to have you here. Thank you so much. And we have with us also Hannah Sanger, our Science and Environmental head person. I'm not sure. I forget what your title is every time. I don't know why.
It's a mouthful.
It is a
It's
mouthful.
longer than that should be.
But I know that when Hannah says, do this, and these are important things, that if you listen, the important things happen. And so, doesn't matter what your title is to
That's
me.
right.
If you speak, I listen, we're in good shape. So thank you very much for being with us as well this
Thank
evening.
you.
It's pretty exciting. We get, and I cannot believe it's already this time of year again. It seems like it comes back very quickly.
It sure does.
The Environmental Fair.
I know. Coming up April 21st,
That
the
is-
day before Earth Day this year, and
Perfect.
I'm excited. Committee's excited, and we've got it all almost ready to go. So
It's amazing. You take Centennial Park, not Centennial
it's
Park,
it's
Caldwell Park, and transform that into just a little city type of a deal.
Pretty much, those all our exhibitors come, and in an hour they set up their tents, and it's a little mini city.
It's amazing, but it's great. The community comes and gets involved with it, and what a great event that you plan. Thank you.
Well, it is fun, and it's really a community-supported event. I mean, we get about 5,000 people come and experience it all, but it's really driven by the community. I mean, I call up our sponsors, and they say yes every year and are thrilled to participate, and they and all the people who give so much time to the event with having a booth there are really what make it. And we usually have close to about 100 different booths, and I understand this year your mayor's youth forum.
Yep, Mayor's Youth Advisory Council.
Council is
It's a big mouthful.
It's
also.
anyway, mouthful.
I don't know why we do that.
I know. Just need an acronym.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, they're going to have 2 booths in the kids area, and so Deb Brady with the sanitation department at the city organizes that area, and that's always a huge draw for all the kids to run around and do crafts and relay races and all about environmental stuff. But then there's just tons of stuff for everybody.
Do you know, I absolutely love going to the environmental fair because you get to see so many people and you get to talk to so many different entities that you don't even realize are out there sometimes, but they're involved in this environmental fair. Like you said, the sponsors, the city that they just pop up in an hour.
It's a pop-up city.
It's incredible the education that happens.
It really is, and our exhibitors, every year, they're like, okay, next year, Hannah, I'm gonna do this. I think it'll be better, and so they are always trying to improve and have a better educational opportunity that's really interactive. And so whether, there's the wheel spinnings and the throwing bean bags into, so you can win prizes, but then people just have so much information to share about whether it's, looking at redoing your home and how you can be more energy efficient and saving your old windows if you live in an old house, to thinking about being energy efficient with your light bulbs, and Idaho Power's there, and people talking about solar and gas efficiencies, and Simplot always has their tomatoes, and
they added flowers.
Really? Oh,
Last year you had a tomato and
I missed that.
I don't know what the flower is,
Okay.
but there was a
flower.
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea.
it was awesome.
I'll have to go. I
don't
never
know if
go
they'll do
stand in
this
the
again.
line. I just sort of.
Well, that
wave by
Simplot
it.
line is always a really long line, and I don't know how many tomatoes plants they give away, but they give a lot.
They give a lot. They have, and then the Future Farmers of America,
That's
I think,
right.
grow them all for them out in American Falls or something. So
exactly.
But there's, cars to look at, and then, everybody lives on a well. You can get your well water tested for nitrates, which we know is a problem in parts of, the areas surrounding Pocatello. If you're not on city water, there's areas that have high nitrate levels. So it's a great chance every year to check how high your nitrate levels are and learn about things you can do to protect your family, which is always important to do. And then free food.
And free food. That's what brings a lot of people, maybe.
It does, and I think, you know, we have hot dogs and Idaho baked potatoes with all the toppings, and then the ISU Chemistry Club does liquid nitrogen ice cream. I always want to call it freeze-dried ice cream. They said, no. Liquid.
No, you got to say, it's got to be the right name.
Yes, it is liquid nitrogen ice cream. And, you know, the volunteers who are giving away the food, they just love that. I mean, it's a great opportunity for them to interact with the community, and so a lot of it's donated, and then we have great volunteers giving it away.
So many good things are happening, though, and this environmental fair is just one of those. Another thing, if you're looking for something to do with a family, what does it cost to get into the environmental fair?
It is free.
What?
It's free. Zero.
It's not only free to get into it, it's if you're riding the PRT bus.
It's free to get there.
It's free to get there.
If you ride your bike, somebody will look after your bike for free.
We have a bike parking lot.
Yep, bike valet.
Bike valet. Okay, I got to get that right too.
That's right. So, and you entered in a raffle if you ride your bike to the fair. But it's a great day to check out how the PRT bus works if you've never been on it. You know, see how to.
Absolutely.
Instead of driving down to the fair. Lots of people walk because parking is a little challenging once you have that many people trying to converge on one part of the city. But there's the church parking lot and the courthouse nearby, so lots of options there. And then there's the recycled sculpture contest.
I was just going to ask about that. There's a couple contests there.
They are. It's my favorite
Recycle sculpture
part.
contest. It's fun to watch or see and walk through. We've got some talented people.
We do. I mean, they come out of the woodwork. Lots of students, especially middle school students, high school students, and then just community artists from all ages who show up with just some really, really cool stuff.
Every year I go in there and I think you can't get better. And sure enough, you walk in and you think, oh my goodness, that's better than last year. It's neat because I think people are thinking about it all year long, trying to figure out what to do.
I think so. So I've been super impressed there.
It looks like you've got different categories, and so if you're 4th to 6th grade, you have a category. If you're 7th to 8th grade, a category. 9th to 12th is a category, and then adults.
Adults, and then we have a People's Choice. So,
and a People's
so everybody
Choice.
who comes to the fair before 1 p.m., so the first 2 hours, you can vote for your favorite sculpture, and that can be any age, and
prizes.
And there are prizes. There's cash prizes. We believe in cash prizes. Recognize all these artists with a little token of appreciation. So up to $50 for the sculpture contest.
The People's Choice.
The People's
is
Choice.
a $50 deal, and then. If you're adult or any of the other categories, it looks like first place is like a $30 prize, and then it's a 30, 20, and 10.
Yeah, so a pretty nice little
That's fantastic.
reward. And then we do the same thing with the fashion show, so recycled fashion show.
I wanted to talk about that too. That's fantastic. The fashion show is incredible.
It is. There's some talent.
Oh my gosh, didn't we have a wedding dress or something
wedding dress made out of tax forms.
That's right.
That blew my mind.
That was unreal.
But yeah, and people have taken Capri Suns and made dresses and handbags. I mean, it doesn't have to be a full wedding dress.
No.
You know, people won first prize for much smaller items that interesting design, and there's a lot you can make clothing out of that I'd never thought about. Are you a fashionista? No.
No, but I once made a newspaper dress, and it was pretty fantastic. If I do say so myself.
Well, there you go. Now you can even make money from that dress now.
That's right. That's right.
That is great.
So those are my highlights every year.
Those the fashion show and the recycled sculpture contest, and it is amazing what people make and stuff.
It is, and I think it's a great opportunity for community members who can't put the time into a booth or don't have an organization to also contribute to this to the environmental fair. So it's really representative of the wider whole community.
It really truly is. And every booth seems to give something away to people.
do.
Idaho Power always has light bulbs or something, and ideas, at very minimum, they have ideas of how to fix or how to cut your electric bill down.
And they've been working hard at reducing our energy bills lately.
They absolutely have been, and so it's incredible there. The biking community, you always have somebody there that talks about the trail system in our area, and you can get a map there.
And often we'll have helmets to give away, and then you can come and you can actually give stuff to the fair with your prescription medicines.
Oh, that's right, the drug take-back.
Drug take-back is there, eyeglasses, small electronics. Now you can always drop off your personal electronics at the sanitation department, where you can, on South 2nd, so where you can actually just drive right there and drop it off. But if you want to bring it to the fair, we'll collect it there. It might be a little longer walk, but we collect lots of eyeglasses and lithium batteries and cell phones, and then we disperse them to the appropriate agencies.
It just shows how conscientious we are here in our community, and how many people of every walk of life there is that we're interested in doing the right thing for our environment. We're doing the right thing when it comes to recycling any items that we have.
People are very engaged, and I think it's just a fun event to be at. I mean, I'm always exhausted by the time it arrives, but it's just a lot of fun. Everybody's in a great mood. I mean, knock on wood, we've had decent weather always.
Oh, we already planned on having good weather.
That's right.
We have the Run with the Big Dogs also that same day, and so it's
that
perfect.
is that day. Oh, perfect.
You can run with the big dogs and then walk or jog over to
That's perfect. Get your pet some exercise and leave them at home.
That's right.
And come to the
and
fair.
then come to the fair.
That's that is a great idea.
That's a great idea, and you can get your free hot dog. Is that what it is?
It is a hot dogs and baked potatoes.
Baked potatoes.
And liquid nitrogen ice cream.
Oh, that's right. Liquid nitrogen ice cream. I have
That's
to
right.
remember
Which is
that.
really cool to watch them make.
Really?
Yeah. So they have the cream and the chocolate, and then they pour in the liquid nitrogen into and then it's ice cream. It's cool.
What?
Yeah. You got to stop by that booth sometime.
Do you have to add water to it after that, or no?
No. Instead of, if you have a kid and you have ice cream, you have cream and you shake it with the ice for ages. In this case, they just add the liquid nitrogen in and they stir it a little bit, and it's ice cream.
That is awesome.
It's very cool. It's very cool.
That is cool.
Science at work.
Yep. And not only do you have booths and do you have free food and do you have these giveaways, you also have music.
We do. So we have, this year we've got for sure Heather and Dan coming back, and the 4 a.m. Club, Engel Portal Productions does an amazing job with our sound, and so the bands are great, and every year they just show up and they put it on, and we are lucky to have some great music, and really right by the food area, so you can sit, have your hot dog or baked potato and watch the band, and it's nice. And then this year they've been upgrading that park. So last year we got a permanent restroom put in, and this year we now have a sort of splash pad and memorial garden put in at one end. So
I wouldn't say splash pad.
Okay. Oh, that's right, not splash pad.
Because we don't want kids running around in
The memorial garden.
trying to get wet, because it doesn't splash very high.
Okay.
But it is definitely a reflection garden.
Thank you.
Is what we have there,
Okay.
which is really nice. And so, I mean, I think that will all just make this event better.
Yep. And speaking of water, one of my favorite things is right by it is the Forest Service comes in, and they bring their stream table, which is like the size of this area bigger.
Yeah.
And they put in water at the top of it, and it runs through this sand area down, and you can see how a stream forms and changes over time. So I'll go back to it over the course of the 4 hours of the event, and you'll watch the stream changing depending on the flow that comes in and the shape of the stream, and it's
cool.
very cool to watch. And they bring their hydrologist, a guy named Brad Higginson, and he just knows so much about stream hydrology, and there's always this whole circle of kids around his table.
It watching.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So you can also learn about our water table.
Oh yeah, aquifer.
Aquifer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
The aquifer there. I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
the city water department comes and they bring a mini model of our aquifer, and so you can see how groundwater works, and if there's a contaminant, how it might get into our aquifer, and what the city does to protect from that. And you can see how the wells will pump water out of the aquifer, which is right beneath the city itself. So it's pretty cool to see that. And then you can also see our wastewater treatment plant comes, and they've got their vacuum truck that pumps if there's a blockage in our pipes that take your toilet flushing water away. They show how they will vacuum that out to clean it up, and all sorts of things about. They've got bugs right out at the treatment plant, and so you can look at some of the bugs up close that might be in the treatment plant and learn about the process out at the treatment plant, and you don't even have to smell it all.
That's the best part there.
So
You don't even have to smell it all. I like it.
Yeah, so our city department, the fire department comes with the fire truck, which is always
a hit.
Always a hit. And we have our neighborhood and planning departments thinking about historic homes and community development and housing, and they're always there, as well as the police department with the medication take back is there. We have and the environmental division is there as well.
Is there, a number of different groups.
Mm-hmm. The sanitation department brings compost, so with your yard waste, the whole process, you can get that end product. So they're there, and they're also running the kids area. So
That's
lots
right.
of, city support across the whole reign of it. And the Pocatello Zoo usually brings an animal or at least some furs to
That's
pet,
right.
depending on the weather. Some of the animals prefer it to be warmer or colder than the actual day is.
That's right.
And
That's right.
we are really lucky.
You have Intermountain Gas there.
We do. We have, let's see, Fish and Game comes, and
Okay,
Museum
there
of
we go.
Natural History. The city's outdoor rec program comes because summer. It's right in spring. It's a great time to be thinking about how you can actually get outdoors and go out rafting and hiking and biking. So they've got information about those programs. And then Audubon and the Native Plant Society bring information about local birds and plants, and they usually give away some local plants that you might find. So that's pretty cool.
Another thing is the local plants. You mentioned local plants while we're on there. It's neat to see what is native to the area.
It is.
And if you're going to plant a tree or something like that, it's always nice to know that what native trees are around so that
That's
you know
right.
it's going to live.
And what will work. Yeah, so there's usually some guidance on that. And we have a lot of that information on people's websites, but the environmental fair is a really nice time when you can just show up and walk throughout the booths and talk to experts one-on-one and find out answers to your questions. And a lot of people I know really appreciate that and look forward to just the chance to get that one-on-one interaction. And the volunteers who are at those booths are super excited to share what they know and tell you about their favorite trails or a program coming up you can participate in, and it's pretty cool.
It is a great event. 5,000 people.
5,000 people, oodles and oodles of volunteers. We have the Boy Scouts camp out the night before to protect stuff,
Oh,
and
that's
then
right.
we have a committee all set up, and then lots of people help break it down and pick up trash, and then about 70 different organizations show up, and we have about 100 booths all told between them all, and we said it's all free, but there's a few things you can spend money on. There's usually some folks come with recycled products that you can buy, so recycled earrings or jewelry, and so there's a few booths like that where you can spend a few dollars, and but otherwise, and the face painting, some of it's free, and then if you want a fancy design, there's somebody who will take a couple dollars for that, but otherwise, all free.
All free.
All free.
And you mentioned earlier, in fact, I think just in the opening, you mentioned Earth Day.
Yes.
And I don't know how often this falls this close to Earth Day, but it sure seems to It's like you planned it.
I know.
We have Environmental Fair, Earth Day.
That's right. And I'm not sure which Earth Day number it is, but they've got to be somewhere in the mid-40s, and this is probably our 15th or 14th Environmental Fair, because it started before I got here. Started working at the city. But the Environmental Fair is Saturday the 21st, and then the 22nd would be Earth Day. So it is quite a celebrate the Earth weekend, and then hope everybody will then be able to get outside and actually enjoy it. It's usually that time of year where you're thinking about planting, and it can be a little cold, but it's usually at least a nice day to get outside. And we've got so many great trails here. I mean, I think that's, one of the things you hear about people who move here is, and people who stay in Pocatello deliberately, is it's just beautiful, and this is, I think, an event that celebrates, we live in a gorgeous place with so many awesome natural features around us, and we all don't get to them all the time, and this is a nice reminder of what is out there, and the resources to help you get out there, whether you are going to drive somewhere or walk somewhere, and how to check it out. And you can go to the museum, or you go to the zoo and see what they have, or go up in our mountains and check it out. But Pocatello has just got so much around us, from the Portneuf River to the mountains on either side. I mean, we're really surrounded by a lot of natural land, and obviously it's important to the community who shows up here year after year, and I always think it's just a great event celebrating Pocatello.
I always get a little bit anxious before the Environmental Fair, because I'm like, we've got all this planning, we've done all this stuff. Are people really going to show up again? And then the April 21 comes up, 11 o'clock, and you have a line of people ready to go in.
We do. So I get anxious because I go, okay, we did all this planning and it's going to snow.
That's right.
I was like,
you never know. It's Idaho,
It is. I was like, where's our backup location this year?
That's
and
right.
It's going to be really small. But so far we've really lucked out with the weather, and
there's been a time or two that it's been a little breezy or a little cool, but it seems like it warms right up, and it is nice.
That's right. Yeah, I figure as long as it's above 50, it's doable. Below 50 is a little chilly, but so far we've been really lucky, and it's an environmental fair, so
absolutely.
You gotta go with what Mother Nature gives you.
You've absolutely got to, and it's pretty neat. It's exciting to have such a great event in our community that is so well attended.
So what's your favorite part of the fair to go to?
Well, I will tell you, I like it all, but I love I like seeing the sculptures.
Yeah.
I like it's not a beauty contest, but the fashion show. I like the fashion show. I think we've got some talent that is unbelievable in our community, looking at that. And then I honestly like to hear what's new. What is happening? There is always a long line for the tomatoes, and I very rarely end up with a tomato plant, because they plan for 5,000 and there's 5,200 people that want a tomato, and so it seems like I very rarely end up with a tomato plant, but it sure is neat to see. And they give a little bit of fertilizer away so that you can know what that is as well. And then just talking to people. I get to talk to so many people at the Environmental Fair, and it's exciting. It's fun. It's exciting. It's a great place to be.
It is.
I like the music and the food, and it's just really fun to get outside for the first time and talk to everyone.
Yeah.
It is usually at that first nice weekend. We've been lucky that where it's nice to get outside and talk to people. And I always say that's what I do. I spend the time before all planning for the event, and then the rest of my committee and all these volunteers are working hard at their booths, and I walk around and get to talk to people, and unless there's a crisis, which usually there's not.
There's usually not a crisis.
So it's quite a lovely day for me.
It seems like everybody pitches in when there's an issue. If somebody's awning is having trouble, a lot of people pitch in to help secure that so it doesn't
People
blow
are
away.
great. Yep. And yes, and if I need volunteers last minute, people show up, and it's always worked out well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's wonderful to have that.
So.
To have it. It's funny because every year I go down there and I say, all right, try to find out, okay, Hannah, do you need me to do anything? Is there anything I can do to help? And it usually takes me 2 hours to find you. Yeah, I think we just are on opposite sides of the park when it happens, and so.
I put one of those little pedometers on one year.
Oh my!
It was a lot of miles. I think I hit like 20 miles one time.
Are you serious?
I was like,
that's amazing.
In one city block.
Yeah, no kidding. You covered every piece of grass in that.
Like, wow.
In there, but it definitely gives our community an opportunity to come in and learn a little bit more of what we can do, because we're all part of this community. We're all part of the environment. And if we can, the least amount of effect we can have on the environment, the better off we are.
It does, and it gives us everybody a tool about something they can do at home to lessen their impact and ensure that Pocatello is a great place for our kids and our kids' kids, and we are able to continue to grow. We've been working on things like this River Vision, which is about improving a local resource, and this is sort of a way everybody can improve a local resource right in their backyard, or alternatively get out and enjoy it. I mean,
Absolutely.
We want to improve the Port Neuf River so people can enjoy it. We want to keep our hills looking good so people can get up and enjoy them, whether it's just looking at them or going hiking and biking up there, whatever you want to do. It's hopefully everybody can in some way enjoy all of these great attributes.
Well, and I agree, and I think we live here for a reason.
Yeah.
And part of that reason is the great attributes that we have. The trails, the mountains, the river, the clean air. Mm-hmm. And this just helps remind us how to do it. And what I really like about this is it's not one of those things you go there and you're being told, okay, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you can't do this, you can't do that. You can ask questions, and it's non-threatening. You can ask questions that you might think are crazy questions, but you have people there that really truly want to help you.
That
understand.
is true, yeah, and it's mostly it's community members who are donating their time for the day, and they just love to interact with people, and they want to share what they know, and they're thrilled to have somebody stop by their booth and ask questions, and certainly they hope you'll take away something with you, whether it's something tangible like a pen or just something in your head that
That's right.
you'll do something with.
Yeah.
So save the date, April 21st. It's 11 to 3. And you can get there you can walk, you can bike with the bike valet, or take the bus, or there's certainly parking nearby, and lots of volunteers there. There's food from about 11 till 2, live music the entire time, and
A kid garden.
there's a kids area, yep, with like 10, 15 booths where your kids can run in circles and hopefully eventually then collapse. And then there's a playground next to that, and then just dozens and dozens of booths for everybody else. And we have passports for the kids so they can go around and get things stamped and be entered in a drawing at the end. And then there's a sculpture contest and fashion show. And then before, we also have a poetry contest that the Chemistry Club sponsors, and so they have every year, the National Chemistry Society has a illustrated poetry contest. And so we collect some poems on that about something to do with Earth Day. I mean, it'll have everything to do with your indoor, your home, to the water. We just find out what the theme is for that year, and that's always really fun to see what people can dream up in an illustrated poem. It's K to 12, so.
It's absolutely fantastic.
So.
Mayor, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
and hope you can make it.
It will be a lot of fun. And Hannah, thank you. Thank you for everything that you do as well.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in as well.